In the fall of 2013, Gary Temple Bodley began channeling a group of non-physical teachers known as Joshua. Soon thereafter, Joshua asked Gary to start writing. They have since produced 4 books and answered hundreds of questions in written form. In the spring of 2016, on the Law of Attraction cruise, Gary underwent hypnosis and Joshua spoke through him for the first time. Since that time, Gary has been practicing channeling Joshua verbally in live weekly calls with one-on-one students. These Joshua calls are now available to those of you joining us on the leading edge of thought. This is the expansion of the Law of Attraction. This is Joshua Live. We're thrilled you're here.
We are thrilled to see you.
Thrilled to see you.
Thrilled to see you. Yeah.
Last time we spoke, you were all frozen in the screen.
Oh, can you? Hi.
We're moving this time, though.
This time you're all moving around, especially Steve. So how is everyone right now in this one moment?
Perfect.
A bit warm.
A bit warm. See, isn't that interesting how you can say, how are you in the moment? And you can either say, are you perfect? Or you can notice anything that might be not perfect. But that's what you do, isn't it? You seek out the one thing that's not perfect, instead of realizing that everything in this moment is perfect. In the future, things could improve. That's how you get preferences. You move towards things that you want. But right now, in this moment, it cannot change. It's perfect.
So if we were in a POW concentration camp and we were having torture session and they were putting like bamboo under our fingernails and you asked that question right at that moment, I would go, perfect?
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah. So
Who is it?
What? You
Right?
you cut out. What was that?
No, you wouldn't say that's perfect. But that's not what's happening to you.
Well, yeah, but I thought every moment was perfect. So
Well, every moment is perfect because it's for you. But you can certainly be in an agonizing moment and say, that's not perfect. And we would say, okay, we'll agree with that one moment. That one moment is not perfect. But the rest of them were.
that's true. That's true.
It was not that moment.
So
How about this moment?
So it would be a contrasting moment is what that would
That
be.
would be a contrasting moment.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Because
But-
right now, since I've never had that, I don't really appreciate the fact that I'm not being tortured right now.
You have had things that have happened that you were uncomfortable with. And in this moment's more comfortable than those moments. This moment's more easygoing. This moment's more free. This moment's perfect. It's so good. It's so fantastic. Everything is right in this moment. You're comfortable. You're talking to higher intelligence. You have enough oxygen. You have enough food. You have enough air. You have enough water to drink. You're indoors. It's not raining on you. You have tea.
Yes.
Plenty.
Home brewed tea.
So this moment's fine. Now, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about this moment? Or are you thinking about some other past moment or some other probable future moment that may never come?
Yeah.
And that's getting your goat. That's the thing that's worrying you. That's the thing that's making this moment not so good. What are you going to have to do after this? What are you going to have to do tomorrow? What happened yesterday? That was all the bad stuff, right? You're still thinking about that stuff. But that stuff either happened in the past or may never happen in the future. In this moment, it's perfect. So why not enjoy this moment and focus on the things that you like about this moment?
So if we were in that situation, theoretically, with the bamboo under the fingernails, that
We
would
would
be
say that you can go ahead and that one moment you can say sucks.
okay. But
We're saying that certainly not every moment's perfect, but most of them are. And why not get
Right.
into the attitude of accepting most moments
Right.
as perfect,
okay.
right? Without
My
worrying
question
about the
was-
future or thinking about the past.
Yeah.
Go
My question is, when we're in moments, I guess maybe I'm answering my own question. I was going to say, when we're in moments like those, the bamboo under the fingernails, I was going to say, how do we get to a place of like appreciation for those moments? But then
This too will
I just
happen.
realized, like, be grateful that we're not actually here with bamboo under our fingernails. I don't anyway.
Grateful. Be grateful that you have everything that you have, because you created everything that you have.
Right.
And if you created the bamboo moments, well, that would be a whole different set of circumstances going on inside you, in your inner world, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you created moments where you're complaining about something that's so slight, it's so nothing. It's not a bamboo. So that's an excellent point. Why don't you say, hey, is this a bamboo moment or not? Or not really?
Right. Sometimes it feels like it, though. I know that I am maybe exaggerating, but today has been very contrasty with my kids. They've been sick and not sleeping well, so I haven't been sleeping well. And it's just momentum from the time that we wake up very, very early in the morning today has not been going in the direction that I would like it to go in. And I guess I managed to turn it around slightly. And then actually my son laid down for a nap on his own. So maybe it's not as bad as I think it is, but
so what was the first bamboo moment of the day?
When I went to bed at 1 a.m. and they got up at 2 a.m. And
so they got up and did they wake you up?
Yes.
Those little bastards.
Right? Yeah.
So we can understand that that's a bamboo moment. However, it's the most sweetest, loving bamboo moment that there is. That's the easiest bamboo moment in the world.
Yeah.
Some people never get woken up by their two little monsters. Some people don't have little monsters.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling myself.
And one day in the future, you're not going to be woken up by those monsters because they'll be gone. Off to college, off to their lives, forgetting all about you. It's a different thing now where they totally rely on you. And you're their whole world.
Yeah.
So they're little monsters and you wish that they were different. You wish they would be little angels.
I mean, maybe. But really more what I've been wishing today is that I handled it better when they aren't, you know?
Well, that's something about wanting things to be a certain way, thinking they should be a certain way, and then beating yourself up when you can't be the perfect person in the whole world. Right? All you can be is as good as you can be. Yeah. So don't beat yourself up about that. Beat yourself up about other things, but not that one.
Yeah. Okay.
So what did you do?
I don't know.
What was the bad thing that you did? The thing you judged as wrong?
I've yelled a lot.
When did you yell? At 2 in the morning?
And then again at 5 in the morning. And then again at probably like 9, 10, and 11 in the morning. I don't know. It's been a long day.
And what is bad about yelling? If everything's right in the universe, what's wrong with yelling?
That it makes them feel wrong. That's what is wrong with it in my mind. That it makes them feel fear. That it makes them, I don't know, feel negative.
Are they really
emotions.
afraid of anything?
In the moment, it seems like. But
they're just giving you the reaction you're expecting.
Oh, okay.
No. They're not afraid of anything. How often do you beat them? Daily?
No. How often I do and how often I want to are two different things. But no, I never beat them.
Yeah, they're fine. Now, why are they waking up at 2 in the morning?
I don't know, because I'm resistant to them waking up at 2 in the morning.
What time are they going to bed?
Oh, like 8, which is later than they were.
Mm-hmm. And so they sleep 6 hours perfectly well, and then they're wide awake.
Yeah.
And then what happens if they go to bed at 8:30?
Then I have less time to myself. Yeah. And they get tired. I mean, they're tired by like 6, you know, and then so the whole
sure
hour.
They are. They've been up since 2.
I feel like I can't win.
Well, this too shall pass. This bamboo moment will be over soon.
How soon?
37 hours.
No, probably
16
years. It'll go by like that, though. We promise.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be
I'll
fun.
take your word for it.
So in this instance, you have a chance to be two people. You can be the enlightened, loving, accepting person who you really are, and you can be the best possible, or you can be the best possible version of who you are right now. And either one is perfect. So there, you cannot beat yourself up for that.
Yeah. Hearing that feels like relief, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Right. You are the highest, most advanced, highest vibrational version of you that's ever existed right now. And you're moving even higher at the speed of light. It's astonishing. Hopefully, they will still be little bastards when you get to this place of loving, pure, positive acceptance. Then you can really see how good you are. That we hope they don't change. Anything else that seems like we'll call this a cotton moment, where they're trying to stick cotton up your fingernails. Not that bad. We'll stop it in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. The hitting is still going on. And it's a little more like even now, like the younger one is now hitting the older one too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's a positive thing. I don't know. I mean, he's not just getting beat up on, but I was trying to figure out what my fears are. They still center on the oldest. Like I still feel more negative emotion when he's the one doing it. And I don't.
And you feel joy when the younger one's doing it.
Not
because
joy.
You have a belief. We were being sarcastic, but joy compared to the other one.
Right.
So you have this belief that the older one should treat the younger one differently than he is, and you feel sad for the younger one who's trying to survive through a day without getting punched.
Yeah.
Right? Now, have you ever watched mixed martial arts?
Yeah.
How do you think those people get to be mixed martial artists? Because they're the little ones getting punched and beat up. And they do pretty good, don't they? They do pretty well for themselves.
I don't know. I don't want my youngest.
Want their path to be what it is.
I don't want. Yeah, I don't want
to be something completely different. How about the guys who ride motorcycles in the dirt or skydive off cliffs? Or any of that stuff. You don't want them to be any of those things. You want them to be clerks behind a desk. Nice and safe. No motorcycles, no punching.
I'm okay with motorcycles even. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could, I guess. But yeah, mixed martial arts. Like, we'll pass on that. But yeah,
something's going to happen. Yep. They chose each other for a reason. Yep. It'll all work out. You're going to watch it. You're going to be amazed.
Okay.
You're going to say all those times that I thought about stopping him from beating the hell out of you. And that would have completely put you on a different path.
Okay, so am I going to be a mixed martial? Like, he hit me today, and for the first time it really hurt. And I just don't know how to react to that. I cried, honestly. That's how I reacted in the moment.
Yeah. Well, if you're feeling good, you'll be inspired to some behavior that'll be beneficial. You'll figure it out. Don't let it bring you down, though. If you let it get you in a lower emotional state of being, then all you can have access to are these urges to make yourself feel better that aren't necessarily beneficial. However, if you look at it from a perspective that this is all part of this boy's process of finding out who he is in the world, finding out what he can physically do, what he can get away with, right? See it from a higher perspective. And then you think about what you want out of this situation, too, without making him wrong. And you can certainly set up standards of behavior that you choose to say that while you're with me in these close quarters, this is what I expect of you.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not making him wrong there. You're saying we are living together in this close quarters. We're in these four walls together. And in this situation, I particularly don't enjoy this part of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm either going to have to leave or ask you to do something differently.
Yeah. I did something similar. I mean, I cried. And then I said, listen, we are a family and we are like together for the next, however many years. And as long as we're together, I want to be treated with love and I want to be treated with respect. And if you can't do that, then I'm just going to have to leave the room or I'm going to have to go somewhere else. And I don't know. He didn't care. I mean, well, he told me not to leave. But I guess.
So you can do that. Statement was perfectly acceptable, was perfectly gracious, and said in a way that doesn't make him wrong.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's all that you want to do is to believe that he's being wrong or inappropriate. Right?
Okay.
Or making him think badly of himself.
Yeah.
If you can do it in as loving way as possible, then that's all the universe can ask of that situation.
Okay.
Yep. And we can, and this is like the bamboo thing. Generally, in most moments, we say, look at the positive aspects of the situation. But when a bamboo moment comes up, well, that's one time where we'll say that you can go ahead and make him wrong. And then allow yourself to be okay with that. Right? Okay. What we're saying is raising a child, you can let the other people make him wrong. You just don't have to be the one that contributed because he'll get a lot of that himself. And we're not saying let's live in a fairy tale land of bubblegum and peppermint sticks where everything's good all the time. What we're saying is that be conscious of what is really going on in the universe and augment your behavior with an eye towards the reality behind physical reality.
Right. The one other area where I feel like I could use some help is I'm getting a lot better at that, at not making him wrong in those situations, and handling it from an enlightened state. But I still worry about everybody else in my life who thinks that I should be making them wrong when those situations occur.
Okay. So let's just say that you have this higher perspective on life, right? Mm-hmm. And you are one of 3 people here that have this same perspective. Do the other 2 people agree with what we're talking about here? Mm-hmm. These people agree with you, right? However, the other people are going through life in the old approach. And you have to understand that their old approach to life is all they know. They haven't had access to this information. Their belief systems do not allow them to have access to this information. They are not vibrationally ready for this information. So you can say, you are so right, I will try better next time, and then go about your business, right? You are right, I will do better next time. That's all you can say. And don't let them sway you. It's like saying, if you knew the world was round and everyone else thought it was flat, you wouldn't argue with them and trying to tell them that the world is round. They're never going to change their mind. All you're going to say is, oh, yes, I didn't think about that way. I will not sail my ship off the edge of the They don't have the information. They have no clue about what is really happening. Right. They're going to go about their own life that way. You know more. You can't really do anything differently anyway. And if you wanted to do anything differently, you would only be doing it to make yourself feel better.
Right.
Because you care what the hell they think. Right? But you no longer care what they think because what they think doesn't really have anything to do with them. It has to do with how you feel about yourself anyways. But that's a whole other story.
Right. Okay.
So look at them with some love and say, oh, you sweet dear. What the hell you're talking about? But yes, I will try and do better next time.
Okay.
I think it's impressive that you seem to be treating your children like adults right now, which is, I think, I've always tried to talk to my kids like they were, individuals, and with you're seeking their, what they want to do, like you gave your son, I can do this or this, and so that impresses me. Not that you should take that. You don't care.
Thanks.
No, it is. It's one thing to view your children as inferior, smaller people, and from that perspective, that nearly every parent in the world has, they believe they have the right and the duty to tell them what to do. But what's really happening here is they're coming in with a higher vibration, ready for the earth of today, where the earth of today is already passed you by because you were ready for the earth when you were born, right? So they are at a higher vibration. Whatever they are doing, they are ready for. And for the adults of the world to tell them they're doing things wrong is not to understand that they come here knowing more. They come here well advanced of the adults. They are rarely the adults, and the older ones are the children.
That's funny.
I see my kids arguing today, and I love the fact that I kind of smile inside, thinking, oh, look at what they're learning, look at what they're going through today, look at the fact that I won't get to see this someday when they're not living at home. The house is a mess. It's like I appreciate the messy house because I know, it's going to be really quiet when they're not here. So it's
really clean.
Yeah, and really clean, and who cares? So it's allowed me to really appreciate and be right. And my wife might not necessarily have that same view. Like she'll want to get in and help the fight between the two of them.
Help solve the problem.
Yeah, and I'm like,
but there is no problem.
Or it bugs her that they're fighting, and it literally really does not bug me that they're fighting.
Speaking of solving the problem, I've been trying to just ask them, instead of getting in the middle when they're fighting, saying, okay, how can you guys solve this problem? And so this morning, Dexter, I think Dexter and I were arguing about something, my oldest, and the youngest goes, how can solve problem?
That's very advanced.
Anyway.
Kate, what's happening with you?
Yeah.
Thanks, that was great. You're doing a great job, Kyla. It can't be easy every day. I've had two things I wanted to mention. One was, so I'm on holiday, and when I'm on holiday I kind of freak out because I think of work. And so, the longer holiday I have, the less I think about it at the beginning. But I did have a bad night because I was just freaking out about work. And then I sort of got over it the next day. But that work issue is still there. There's still the fear there, and it's not really dissipating. So that was one thing. But then the other thing I wanted to mention was I started listening to Tony Robbins. Now, I wouldn't mention this because Tony Robbins, it's like, he's a freak, nobody listens to him. He's like, wait, anyway.
I listen to him.
But
Tony Robbins is wonderful.
I listen to him.
He said something. Do you? Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I listened to him. Oh my God, he said some stuff that I was listening to in a podcast. He was saying life is happening for you, not to you. He was saying so many things. I was like, where does he get this stuff from? And then he was talking about his experiences with the audience, where he just gets in the moment what somebody is and what they're going through. And I was like, he's just completely, he's like in the zone. He's in the, and I was just super impressed. And so I've been listening quite a bit to him because I think he's got a lot to contribute, and he's pretty down to earth. So those are the two things that have been going on.
He has a documentary. There's a documentary about him.
I haven't yet seen it, but I'm going to try and watch it. Yeah.
Anyway.
But I was interested by the character, and this sort of, where does he get it from, and how does he do it? I mean, he's amazing, and that so many people have this prejudice against him. I guess maybe not. He helps millions, but
I haven't heard of the prejudice against him. I wasn't aware.
Haven't
of that.
you?
No.
I've seen some stuff.
I think it's just a prejudice, Steve, against the whole self-help thing. Tony Robbins is sort of the leader, and then the whole self-help and gurus and coaches, that people just tend to put it into a bag and like, oh yeah, that, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Motivation stuff.
Like mumbo jumbo.
Mm.
Well, we would say that he has reached vibrational alignment with higher intelligence, that he has as much access to this as anyone does. He doesn't call it the same thing, and he believes that the ideas are his, not the ones that he's attracted or the ones that he's been in vibrational alignment with for a long time. So he, unlike Gary, is given himself the option or the permission to say that this information that is very advanced comes from him, which is perfectly acceptable.
Fair enough.
And Gary uses us, and Esther uses us, and a lot of people use the non-physical to explain it because it's easier that way. Because because you have to have a certain level of confidence and wherewithal, desire to make it about yourself. And so for some people it's easier to use us. But you can tell when someone's talking about high vibrational things that match what we're saying, or whether they're afraid of it and they want to disparage it. But there's nothing you can disparage. If you listen to Abraham or Tony Robbins or us or anyone else, you can see the things that align in that. You can see how it makes sense. You can see that there's only good from it. That you can see that there's no evidence anywhere in the world that it's not true, right? And everyone will have their detractors, and everyone will have a reason not to do something, a reason to believe that they're a victim rather than the creator. Because it's easier to be a victim, right? It's easier to say, because no one wants to take responsibility for anything that they created that isn't optimum. So that they will use this as an excuse, right? That this doesn't really work. And they will also look at the aspects of the person who's giving the information and say, well, if this person was perfect or knew everything, wouldn't this be better? Wouldn't this be different in that situation? But they're not understanding the person's path anyway. And that's just a judgment as it is. You look at a homeless person, and you could get this information from a homeless person, but you would discount it because you say the homeless person isn't living the life that I would live, and therefore the information is not valid because it's not working for them, yet you don't know what the path of the homeless person was. You don't know what their intentions were before they were born. You don't know why they're here. You don't know what their specific expiration is. And it might be this idea that not to have possessions, not to need a home, not to do any of this stuff, right? You can look at Eckhart Tolle. He was homeless for years. And once he got the information, he was homeless. And he realized he didn't need anything. All he needed was himself. He was self-contained. You are all self-contained. You don't need anything else. You don't need any of the trappings of this society that you have. Okay. Now, you can use everything you have as an excuse to be happy or to be sad, to be positive or to be negative, to look outside yourself for verification or validation of your worthiness or not, right? And so when someone says something detrimental against anyone else, they're either trying to make themselves feel better or trying to give themselves the validation that this wouldn't work for me anyway, so I'm not going to bother with it. And in fact, if I can't bother with it, it brings up fear, and so I'm going to make sure no one else bothers with it as well. Right? No matter what it was. And this is the thing that you have. So we say, be without judgment, because if you judge anything as wrong, where does it stop? So you might say, okay, this is not wrong, this is not wrong, we understand that's not wrong, but this thing over here is definitely wrong, right? But if you say that this thing over here is definitely wrong, then where does that lead? That means the thing that's right below it has to be wrong too. And then you go all the way down and you're back to where everyone else is judging good and bad, right and wrong. So everything is right. In that response, everything is right with Anthony Robbins. There's no wrong in him anywhere. And if there's something that you don't align with, well, that's fine for you. But you can't say that it's not fine for someone else, right? This interaction with the three of us may be the three of us for eons, or it may be millions, but it doesn't matter. It's the same. If you get something out of it, then that's as valid as it's going to be. Whether your boyfriend or your mother doesn't agree with it, it doesn't make any difference for you, right? Because they are not at this vibrational level. They are into whatever they're into, and whatever's right for them is right for them. It's perfect for them. Right.
Gary, just on that subject of being right and mother, etc., I was having this brief conversation, very brief, because she cut me off this afternoon, my mother, about, because I was saying I had a call with you guys, and she knows about it, and she's tried Abraham, and, you know, whatever, it didn't completely work for her, but she was open to it. But, you know, she said, well, you know, why are some people picked to channel? Why is it them? Why isn't it all of us? Why can't we all do it? And basically what she was saying was, and she said it afterwards, she lacks faith. She works on it, she meditates, she tries, but she's really sad because she can't seem to get faith, I guess. You know, she doesn't have faith in, I don't know what, you know, life. And I didn't really know what to give her on that, so I just shut up.
This is our favorite subject of all, other than children. We get to talk about this one idea of channeling. Channeling is simply communication with the non-physical. Gary is doing it now. You're doing it now. Anyone can do it. It's the most natural thing in reality. You are always meant to have an open communication with the non-physical. Always. That was always part of the process. Yet you forget about it, you discount it, you don't have faith that you can do it. Because you don't understand how thoughts work. You think thoughts are created like a factory in your brain rather than being attracted. So if you attract these thoughts, where are you attracting them from? Are you attracting them from the physical? Is it a piece of paper coming into your head? All thoughts are non-physical. You are communicating with non-physical every time you have a thought. It is the most natural thing in the world. But you believe the thoughts are yours. And therefore, because you don't feel worthy enough, you discount these thoughts. These thoughts are great thoughts. And the higher your vibration is, the better quality thoughts you get, the better ideas you get. You have access to your inner self. You can talk to your inner self anytime. You can talk to anyone who's in the non-physical anytime. You can bring forth and channel anyone to help you solve any problem anytime. It's just that you don't have faith that you can do it. And you haven't practiced it. How many times have you practiced it? Now, Gary wasn't selected. Gary happened to come into vibrational alignment with it. Now, we could say that he was selected in the fact that he intended it prior to his birth, and this is all part of this process for him and for many others. And somehow he lived this very normal life. So it's interesting that a person living a normal life can come into it. But Esther did the same thing. Esther had a very normal life. And there's a lot of people who have normal lives and do it. And there's a lot of people on the fringes who you feel like are on the fringes who are channels as well. And so you see that it comes from all areas. And they're not selected. They just allow themselves to do it. Now, he had a little help along the way. Certain things worked, you know, on his path. He stayed on this path. And he gave himself, when the time came, the permission to do it because he was already high enough in the vibration to do it. Now, many people will talk to God and will hear God talking to them. And God is just another form of the non-physical higher intelligence talking back. Do they believe it? Some do, some don't. But anyone can do it. Now, there's a lot of momentum with your mother. There's a lot of momentum with a lot of people. And you approach life from a certain way for a very long time. And by approaching life from the old way, where you want to change the conditions that exist in the outside world, because you're so caught up in the illusion of reality, You try and change the conditions, but nothing changes on the inside. You do things because you think when you achieve these things, you're going to feel better, rather than feeling better now and let the world shape to see how you feel, shape to reflect how you feel, right? So you keep saying, okay, I am going to think happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, in order to be healthier, lose weight, find a lover, get richer, whatever it is, right? The only reason you're thinking happy thoughts is to get these things that you lack. So you're only paying more attention to the things you lack the whole time, right? And you say, well, this law of attraction doesn't work because I'm thinking about this thing I want so badly, and I'm doing these things, being positive, but you're not living life from the approach that is allowing. You haven't figured out how to be an allower yet. You think you have to go out and get instead of receive. Okay. And so that, until you start learning to live life by this new approach, by this receiving approach, by this allowing approach, rather than this taking and getting and changing approach, nothing really is going to change. You will see the people who are achieving what they want to achieve, what they truly want to achieve, are the ones who are best at allowing and just letting things come to them. Everything is good. Everything is right. Everything is for me. Everything is working out for me. This too shall pass. Everything is working in this whole organized fashion to bring me what I want. And I am not going to argue with anything. I'm not going to resist it by thinking it's bad or wrong. I'm going with the flow of life, and I'm going to allow it. And that's how you get everything you want. Now, how can you tell your mother this? You cannot tell her this because she will look at you and she will see what she considers to be the negative aspects of you. And she will say, oh, if that really worked for Kate, well, this would be different and this would be different and this would be different, right? She can't see the ease and the calm and what is happening to where you were to now and to the future. She is focused on you in a way that from the time you were 2 years old. She is seeing this thing, this version of you that has been progressing in sometimes a good way and sometimes not what she wanted to this thing. And so her idea is so wrapped up in you that you can't say anything to her to make her understand it. It's just, it's not possible, right? Plus, she is vibrationally close because you are her daughter and she is, but she's just not there yet. And for you to even say anything, it just brings up conflict for her, right? It just makes her feel worse. So you allow everyone to be as they are. You can drop a book, send them to a website, have them listen to a podcast, whatever. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But don't get attached to their,
no, I don't.
To whatever comes from them.
No.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk more about how you feel about work while you're in the south of France.
I was trying to skip that one. Push it under the rug.
We see this incredible, beautiful, peaceful, tranquil environment, and you are still back at work.
I was. Today I was much better. I was really focusing on gratitude in the moment and that felt really good. Just appreciating the tree, appreciating the river, the weather, just this beautiful, calm, lovely area. And how lucky I am to be here. So yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
The food.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, but as we said, in the moment, you're thinking about something else. Something else where is that something else? It's in the future. Right?
Yes.
Which future is it?
It's dark and bleak and grey and...
it's Armageddon.
It's my Armageddon. So, thank God it doesn't really affect anyone else. But
what it seems like to us is that if Armageddon were to happen, that would be a bloody good thing.
I sort of agree. Part of me kind of wishes that would happen. That way it would just be like, okay, that's done. But then part of me thinks, yeah, but that would just be running away. It's something I want to solve rather than run away from it.
How do you solve it?
Well, today I was thinking I've just got to find gratitude and love. Sorry, I'll shut up.
No, you can talk over us. We love being talked over. We love talking over you too, though. If you had Imagine this. You would almost prefer a zombie apocalypse to your job. Therefore, what do you have to lose? Right? What's the worst going to happen? So why not go into the job and not give a damn what anyone thinks and just do what you're inspired to do? When someone says something to you or gives you a dirty glance or asks you where this is or what's happening with this, you can just look at them like they are a robot, and that's just what they're programmed to do. But that doesn't mean anything to you because they have no power over you. You only do what you want to do. So you go into work, and when you go into work, what is the one thing you can do that's fun at work? That's interesting, that's enjoyable?
I enjoy, I guess, coming up with ideas and then giving them to clients. It doesn't happen every day, but when it happens, I'm like, yes.
So if you went into work and you sat down at your desk and you could do one thing that was interesting, enjoyable, or fun, what would you be doing at your desk?
At my desk, I'd be one, looking at the markets to see where they're going, and then I'd start doing some reading.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing where the markets are. You'd be paying attention to what's happening in the world. You'd be overhearing other people's conversations. You'd be saying hello to people in the office.
Yep.
You'd be getting a cup of coffee. Is that enjoyable?
It could be. It's more an excuse to get up and walk, but...
Right. You could open your computer and Google something.
Yep.
Right.
Except they've blocked us off from most things. I can't Google you. I can't Google that. I can't, but that's okay. That's it. That's okay. I've got my tablet. Believe me, I've got other ways.
You can Google things that are relatively interesting and possibly beneficial to clients.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you could use that as your excuse to what you're Googling.
Yes.
Right. So there are fun things to do while you work.
Yes.
Now, in a zombie apocalypse, what kind of fun things would there be? Not as many.
No.
You know, scurrying around looking for bottles of water in abandoned grocery stores. That's all you can do.
I've read The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and that was plenty enough.
So this is certainly better than the zombie apocalypse. So we're saying it doesn't matter what happens, right? Because if you got fired from your job, that would be a good thing. That would be a great thing. Okay? You would feel better all of a sudden. All this weight would be lifted off you. So if you got fired, that's the best thing that could happen. Why not go there and just have fun until that day happens? Just have as much fun as you can. Because we guarantee you, if you go in with the attitude of having fun and just doing whatever you want to do, what you want to do in the moment, it will lead to something good and something good. And you'll get ideas and you'll go, I'm having a good time here. I didn't even know about this. Let me research this idea a little further. Let me send this off to this client and see what they say about that. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the attitude that's going to make you not only enjoy work, but be a success at it as well. Be a super success. And when you say you're not a success at it, you're being ridiculous because in all the world of all the people that you do, you're at the top of that. Anyway, you were at the top.
I don't agree. My numbers, my financial numbers are telling me I'm not.
We know what's happening with everyone else. We know what's happening with everyone else. You are in the top 13%. It's incredible how good you're doing compared to everyone else. Everyone else is just, nobody else cares about their customers. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. Oh, they don't care. They don't even think they're doing bad. They think that's how the job is. That's how they think. A lot of them, we will say a huge percentage of them, think that if you're doing something good for the client, well, you're not doing this job right. Yeah. If you put the client first, you're putting the wrong person first.
I agree.
Right. So you, from a vibrational point of view, from a higher perspective, are one of the top in your field, in the world. And you're doing very well. It's just that you aren't seeing yourself from that perspective. And once you do, once you see how valuable you are, how rare you are, how you have specific special talents that no one has. That you do it your way, the Kate way, as we've often said, everything will get easier. But you have to stop caring about what anyone else says because they don't know the Kate way. They know the other way to do it. That's all they know, right? And that's what they think. Yeah. And they want you to do it their way because that's all they can do. They can't teach you how to do it your way because they don't know how to do it your way, right? So you just politely say, that's a great idea. Thank you for that advice. Thank you for that positive criticism. It really helps me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now get out of here while I go back to work and do my thing.
Okay.
That's all you have to do.
All right.
Steve, you're incredibly quiet today.
Well, I got a lot out of your interaction with Kate, so that was good because I can apply that same thing to my job.
Which job?
The day job. I call it my day job. So,
yeah. Your day job. Are they on your ass to do things a certain way?
No, actually, it's going rather well. I should say that the only sticking point I have nowadays is that I still have to be here physically. So that's my big one. So
right. So by being there, which you have created, you created a very nice place to be, by the way. You should see some of the offices in Calcutta. That's so nice.
Okay.
No air conditioning. No way to get free Taco Bell food.
This is really nice. I would agree with that.
No mother suites, pregnancy suites.
Right.
Yep. No milking rooms. They have milking rooms, but they're different. They usually involve animals. So you are in this incredible environment, and this environment affords you everything else that you have. It's your excuse for having everything you have. And so you put a little nice time in these walls, and then you go home, you put some nice time in those walls, and then you go on your motorcycle and you put some nice time on that. So it can be as nice, but you're thinking that, well, this would be nicer than this. While I'm here, I should be doing something else. I wish I wasn't here because I wish I was doing something differently. And then on the other side, you say, well, if I wasn't here, I couldn't even be doing any of this stuff. So I'm stuck here. I'm trapped here like in my prison.
Well, I'm not really stuck. I'm still happy. I don't take it that bad. But I do think that I'm missing out on I have a projection that if I wasn't here, I'd be doing something that would because I don't see this day job as being super abundant. It pays the bills. But I do see these other things I have going on as possibly superabundance coming in. And then I go back to, well, if I wasn't doing this, I would have the energy and the inspiration to do these other things that I can forecast bringing in lots of abundance. So I kind of feel like I'm on hold right now while I'm just enjoying myself.
We will say that this position affords you the luxury of doing the other things without stress. And without stress, you are at a much higher vibration. You are much more open to ideas. You are much more interested in doing things you want to do. If you had left this position and was 100% in the other position, you'd be so worried about money and making things work out and getting things done on time and your reputation and your employees and all this other stuff that you would be in a low emotional state of being much of the time. And you can see when people are stressed and they get in this low emotional state of being, they lose their access to leverage universal powers. They don't get that insight that gives them the inspired ideas and inspired action. They're cut off from that because they're so focused on how hard everything is or how scary everything is or how they're worried that they are. So you create a situation where you have this, which affords you to do this at a high level. And you don't need that much time to do this over there because you are very effective when you do have your time on them, as long as you're not worried about taking time from other things that you like to do. As long as you're open and you say that if I can get enough of a cushion in this other thing so that I'm no longer stressed, that I can move seamlessly from this into that. And as long as I can do it without having stress or without being scared or without being worried or without my family freaking out, then you will be moved naturally. The transition will be easy. You'll have nothing to worry about, and you will soar in the other thing. But this thing, this day job, allows for the other thing to even get off the ground.
Perfect.
So, so it's perfect. It's working out perfectly. So the key here is to focus on being in a high emotional state of being like you always are and not get stressed. And if you can do the other thing without being stressed, when you were in the other business with the other partners, they put a lot of pressure on you. That cut you off from well-being, cut you off from this access to infinite intelligence, cut you off from being able to get the ideas that you needed to feel good. And so they were often this thing that kept you in a low emotional state of being, and you couldn't be as effective as you could have been had you been free. Had they just let you go free reign and do whatever you want to do without any expectations. That's why we say, in a perfect world, a boss would say, do what you feel like doing right now, and then do what you feel like doing the next moment, and don't worry what we say. And you would, if you were loving what you were doing, you'd be the most fantastic employee in the world.
That's the trick, is finding those people that love to do this. I'm having that challenge right now. I'm trying to find somebody that I need something done, and I want them to love it. And so far, I'm picking people that I think would be good.
Right. Don't pick people you think would be good because you're filling in your own grid. Allow the universe to find the people for you.
Well, I'm being
Have
open.
Faith. Be open. Right.
I'm being open, but I'm not like actively advertising or anything like that.
Well, you will get inspiration to look around, to go on the internet and find it. You will see an email come in. You will overhear a conversation. You will notice a story, this sort of thing. You will see a website, and you will look to see what that website's like, or who's working on that website, or where they're getting people from there. And this will lead you in a direction. So it is all working to come together at the right time. You just have to have a little patience and be open to the possibilities that they can come from anywhere. You have no idea where they're coming from.
Okay.
Or if they're even people.
I'm open to aliens.
Aliens could do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Robots. Mm-hmm.
I have something that on my list, and again, I think it's one of those quirky questions, but it's really on my mind. About 3 weeks ago, we had my day job had a picnic at an amusement park here in town, and I was standing in line, and a giant peach beetle, which about good sized, and they're scary looking to most people, but they're a beautiful iridescent green when they land, and it's
it was your great uncle.
Okay, my great uncle landed on me there. But okay, I'm 53 years old. I've never had a peach beetle land on me before, and I've lived here most of the time. So it lands. I have a peach beetle land on me 3 weeks ago at the picnic. Then a week later, I'm at the beach, and a peach beetle lands on me and hangs out with me for like an hour, and I feed him some watermelon, and we have this interaction. And then yesterday at lunch, I'm at an open air thing, and a peach beetle lands on me. And I met with Wendy last night, and I was telling her about these 3 peach beetles, and then she texted me today. She's having lunch in her car, and a peach beetle landed on her or came into her car. So what's with the peach beetle thing?
So can you see that the universe and non-physical energies and non-physical entities can come to physical reality?
Yes.
And they can appear as anything.
Yeah.
They can go inside a peach beetle and influence the peach beetle to fly over here and land on the shoulder.
Yes.
Right?
But
the peach beetle is open to inspiration from non-physical. It's called instinct sometimes by you. But what's happening is it's receiving inspiration to act because the peach beetle is feeling good. So universal forces take the peach beetle, ask it to go over and land on your shoulder, and then you notice it because you're also connected as well. The peach beetle has landed on you many times when you were frustrated or when you were paying attention or when your mind was on something else and you never noticed it. Right?
Really? Because
I don't know.
They're rather
Maybe.
large and they're scary to most people. I would say 99% of the people are very scared when they come by.
Well, the universe chose a peach beetle because you would notice it. Right?
Okay.
And others would notice it too. So it was like this obvious sign. So it happens to you 3 times. And then it happens to Wendy. And you are connected, and now you are in this together. And it gives you possibly a reason to talk to each other, or possibly a reason to think a different thought, or possibly a reason to ask a question, or possibly a reason to look for more peach beetles in the future, or to realize that you attract these things based on your vibration, to open you up to other ideas. So this could be a peach beetle. It could be overhearing a conversation from someone else. It could be seeing a billboard. It could be a little car accident. It could be all kinds of different things to get your attention. But when you look at that, you can say, well, this happened 3 times. I really noticed it. And then it happened to Wendy, and Wendy and I are connected. So what is happening between Wendy and I? So what's happening between you and Wendy?
Well, she's going to be joining this call next week.
Yeah. And was also told to pay attention to you because she needs to have a example of someone living a new approach to life so that she can adopt this new approach to life. Because to her, she doesn't know what the new approach looks like.
Right.
She has no examples of it. And for her specifically, everything is difficult in her life because she is trying to change conditions. She's going by the old approach. And so here is her chance to be with you. And so you guys are connected in this. She will be with all of you in this in the future. She's in the one-on-one program now. And it was probably more for her than for you in this part. You know, she is a little more impatient. She is looking for quick results. And here she is able to talk to you and have this conversation and feel connected to you as well. And also, for the first time, realize that a peach beetle lands on her means something instead of a peach beetle landing on her and being a random, occurrence that happens to everyone. She is now seeing for the first time that her interaction with a higher vibration and different thoughts is creating these things to happen for her. And in fact, one of her last questions our answer was, pay attention to manifestation events that pop up now that are different than before. So here's one, seeing numbers all in a row is another one, things like that. Okay, so you go from this level to the next level, which is receiving inspiration to act, acting on that inspiration, seeing the benefits that occurred from the inspiration, and realizing how this whole system works, that you're not in this alone, that you're being given information all the time if you will just act on it and allow it to happen. Kyla had something like that happen to her this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was inspired to call my friend. Is that what you're talking about? That's what I wrote a question about. And it ended up, it's a friend that I haven't talked to in a while, and I haven't felt like we've been a match necessarily vibrationally. But I had just talked to another friend for an hour, got off the phone with her, and then was inspired to call this other friend and made excuses at first because I just been on the phone for an hour. It was getting late, yada, yada, yada. But I called her, and we ended up Skyping and just having a really good time, this incredible conversation where we both learned a lot. So it was really good.
Yeah, you acted on inspiration in the moment instead of succumbing to fears of why it's not a good time, why it wouldn't work out, why she's, probably doesn't want to hear from me. Well, maybe I should just text, that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But you push through that little fear, right? Yeah. So pay attention to these little tiny things that happen from the universe that are an indication that you're on the right track. And then look for the coincidences because there are no coincidences.
Right. That always makes us laugh.
100%.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have one quick one. Hopefully this can be snipped out later. I have a lot of fear around Wendy joining because she's closely tied to my family on two ends. She's close friends with a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, and she's friends with my wife. So I'm just curious. I know I should apply. When fear comes up, I should try to examine the false belief behind it or whatever, but I just feel like
What's
I won't
the false belief? Well, first of all, on a scale of 1 to 10, how intense is this belief?
The belief?
Or the fear?
Well, it goes to my issue. Everybody has their issues, and so my issue is relationships. So
how intense is the fear?
Well, it's a pretty...
It's a fear she'll find out something that will get back to your family.
Yes.
So how intense is that fear on a scale of 1 to 10?
7.5.
If she was on the call today, would you have found out anything that you wouldn't want her to know?
No.
Okay.
No, and I know that I can go through these calls easily without having to do that. But I feel like some of my interaction that I would get the most out of is diving deep into the things that I don't talk about.
So your fear is then that you're going to miss out on information that you would have gotten had you not been on the show, on the call. Right. Okay. So is that a rational fear?
No, I won't die.
And is there other ways to contact us?
Yes, there is.
And is there a possibility that she may not make every show?
It already happened. She didn't make today.
And is there a possibility that there are things that you're not going to say anyway, whether she was on or not?
That's also true.
And is it possible that she may, or Carla may, or Kate may say something that will give you the same information?
Yes, I noticed that with your interaction with Kate.
And is it possible that you might listen to Abraham and that give you the same interaction?
Oh, yeah.
Or the same information. So the information that you need will come to you. It doesn't have to come from us. It can come from anywhere, right? So you can be completely secure in the knowing that if you do not want the information to come out, it doesn't have to come out.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Of course, I answered it. I feel like there's a driving force that says you got to come clean, Steve. It's like
that's all in your head.
Okay.
That's all based on your beliefs and your fear, and other people don't have that idea whatsoever. It's all based on this vibration that you're holding. It's good to think about that. It's good to know that it is there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okie doke. I'm doing better and better.
But you're already clean.
Why, thank you.
I do get what he's saying in that, I've heard Abraham say, well, whatever information you need to hear, you'll hear it. Somebody else will ask the question, etc., and you'll pick up on it. Okay, so I'm willing to believe that. But when I ask a question and you direct your answer to me directly, I think I hear it much better than if it's being addressed to someone else in another way, in another subject. There's more work to be done to try and apply it to me.
Actually, you receive more information better from Kyla and Steve's questions.
Yeah, and you're right, because I was thinking tonight, okay, so Wendy's going to come on, that's going to make one more person, that might make less time for each one of us, and blah, blah, blah. And then I was thinking, but it's no big deal, because I get so much information from the others anyway, I can just sit back and listen and enjoy the vibration. So, I was able to work it out.
And you're attached to your issues. So when you ask a question and it comes back to you, you don't get to hear it, at least not right away. In fact, if you were able to listen to these over again, you'd hear a lot more of it because you're not as attached to it. Right? So I don't know if that's possible in these times when you can record something and listen back to it. But if that kind of technology exists, I haven't seen it. We have not seen it. We don't know. Gary
Neither have I yet.
We assume that exists. Yeah.
Whatever.
It's amazing.
Kyla's got one up on the drive. It's close. It is very close to being published. So.
Yes, excellent. And then it's going to go on to some sort of format when people around the world can hear it and engage with this information that you so honestly and graciously are sharing with the world. It's an incredible thing. Your contribution is far more important than you can even imagine. It's amazing. Most people would not do it. Most people would not be willing to do this. This is contribution on a massive scale. It's going to alter the whole fabric of the universe. You can't even understand the impact that it's going to have.
To me, it just seems like a big privilege.
It's a contribution.
In our lifetime, will we notice this fabric change?
That's up to you. You can notice it now, or you can notice it when you see some obvious numbers, or when you hear some feedback, or you can know that it is happening all over the world right now on a whole different level that you can't perceive. So it's up to you to decide how important it is, and how important you are, and how important your contribution is, whether it's this or anything else you do. It's all up to you. You can't look back for feedback. You know why?
Right.
Why you can't get feedback that you want? Because you need this feedback.
Because it's external.
It's all external. It's all coming back to you anyway. It's your vibration is getting you back what you are thinking you need anyway. Right. So if you think that you're a valuable person, you're going to get feedback that says you're a highly valuable person. And if you think that you're doing stuff that's not very valuable, you're going to get feedback that appears to look like it's not very valuable, even though it really is. So it's all lies with you. You are self-contained.
I'm expecting 2 peach beetles next time.
It may be a raccoon next time. We can't say.
That would be interesting.
We got a bat 2 nights ago. We weren't quite sure what to do with it.
That was your great aunt.
Who knows Steve's great uncle, right?
They all know each other, certainly. They're talking right now. They're communicating. So when a wild creature comes into your path, it is for your benefit. It is non-physical, peeking in at your life, seeing who were the people in the room or in the area. You and your mother?
It was my mother, my mother's boyfriend, and me.
And how long were you there?
Well, the bat was there longer than I was because I went outside to try and block out the light.
What we're saying is, how long was it from the time you arrived in the south of France to the time this happened?
Oh, from the time I arrived Saturday evening, and it was last night or the night before, so 2 days, 3 days.
Mm-hmm. And so it was a time when you were all together. So yes. Somebody is interested in seeing you all together in physical. And this is one way to do it. Another way is a spider or some other means. But they like it when you notice.
Oh, we noticed.
Yeah. They like it when you scream. They think it's hilarious.
I keep thinking it's Sherry.
Uh-huh. Does Sherry know Wendy?
Well, Sherry, the peach beetle didn't appear when Wendy was there. It was
no, but the peach beetle happened on Wendy as well.
Right.
So Wendy's tied to this whole peach beetle thing. It's not. We're not saying it's the same peach beetle. We're saying that
I know.
This idea of a peach beetle, this whole thought of a peach beetle, and how rare it is, right, links you,
right. Well, she probably just did it to link us. She was acting on the forces of the universe. I don't know. Yeah. It's fun for me to think it's wrong. That's what I'm going to think. My great uncle, not so much.
No,
because I don't even know who my great uncle is. I'd have to really think about that.
We don't even know if you have a great uncle.
I'm sure I do. I'm sure somewhere.
Yep.
I have a belief that I can't be late to pick up my son from school, so I gotta go.
I'm
choosing to go.
So let's test that belief. What happened?
I look like a bad mom.
Excellent. All right. Until next time, when we do it, we're actually going to leave this call right now and just go right to next time because it's so fun. We'll see. We'll see it in a week, but we're doing it. We're going to do it right now.
All right.
We can fold time like an envelope. Very good. Well, we are complete.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Joshua Live. If you have a question you would like Joshua to answer on the show, send us a message on Facebook at www.facebook.com/teachingsofjoshua. As always, remember that you are loved more than you can imagine by more than you could ever count. We'll see you next time.